What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. And what if you had a second chance? So, what am I talking about here? So, today we're taking a look. A lot of people have been talking about this lately, and I was like, you know what? Let's kind of have a look at this in a nutshell. And this is Bitcoin 2 or BC2. Now, none of this is financial advice. I'm a horrible trader when it comes to anything, and I'm not saying anything about doing anything. We're just going to look at this and see if it makes any sense on a mining perspective. So right off the get-go, yes, this is called Bitcoin 2, and it's currently sitting at 51 cents, up from like 6 or 7 cents or something here. Let's just kind of look at the background here on non-KYC. We're sitting at it was sitting around, what we got here, 8 cents or something like that. So 7 cents, in there. Now it's 51. So it's been doing okay for a little while now. So by okay, it's done decent. We can see here that it's doing pretty good. But what the heck is this? So it does say Satoshi Nakamoto. If you're unfamiliar with him, I'm sure everyone in the crypto knows who that is. He is the creator of Bitcoin. So is often credited with saying it might make sense to get some in case it catches on. Many people wish they could have been mining Bitcoin since 2009. Absent a working time machine, this is the best chance at a second chance that we can provide. And then it has the current price and stuff here, the Explorer, back to first principles. So a new proof of work cryptocurrency built purely on the foundation principles of Satoshi Nakamoto's original Bitcoin protocol. A sister chain, not a competitor. So they're not claiming to be a competitor to Bitcoin or anything. They're just a nice sister chain. They're not saying they're the next Bitcoin or anything. Well, I know technically maybe they are saying that, but yeah. So here is the technology. So some of these kind of contradict themselves here. So obviously we have the proof of work algorithm is SHA-256. It uses the same battle-tested hashing algorithm as Bitcoin, ensures robust security and a proven track record. So we know there are very powerful ASICs already available for this. So now we come down to this one. It says difficulty restart at 1. So the mining difficulty began at the lowest possible level, opening up mining to standard consumer hardware from day one. So they're referring to CPUs and GPUs and things like that. With difficulty reset to 1, Bitcoin 2 is well within the realm of being mineable with standard consumer grade CPUs. Now, obviously, we know that is not the case. So, right from the get-go, we have those little mini solo Bitcoin miners, and one of those is like thousands of the latest gen CPUs. So already one of those, and that's what people put on from day one, is just some mini Bitcoin miners, maybe some big Canaan 220 terahash miners. So CPUs from day one had no chance unless you were the very first person to turn on your CPU before anyone's seen this. You have zero chance to mine this with consumer grade hardware. So that's already, not the case at all. And that shouldn't even have been here in my mind, because you see this, everyone has a solo Bitcoin miner or something by now, and that's what they would be turning on day one. Max supply 21 million, the same as Bitcoin. A fixed finite supply, just like Bitcoin, guaranteeing scarcity and protecting against inflation. Subsidy halving. So the mining reward is cut in half every 210,000 blocks, 4 years following Bitcoin's deflationary model. So again, this part is exactly the same as Bitcoin. And, this will always be subject to change if hash rate increases, because it's slow adjusting for the difficulty. A whole bunch of blocks are going to be found fast, and it could speed it up. At the same time, hash rate leaves and it takes a lot longer. Blockchain slows down, then blocks are found slower, making an average of around 4 years. But it could be slightly longer, and obviously it could be slightly faster than 4 years, depending on those factors here. So here we have a new Genesis block. This does state Bitcoin 2 starts with a brand new blockchain. It is not a fork of the existing Bitcoin chain, providing a fresh start for everyone. So that's interesting. They're claiming they didn't just straight up fork Bitcoin. They actually made this from scratch, but in the same parameters of Bitcoin. Now, I'm not a super genius in telling how to understand this, but you can go through the source code and stuff and go through it and match it up and see if that's actually the case. If you did do that, or you plan on doing that, when you do, let me know in the comment section what you found. Is it a fork, or did they in fact you know, make this their own, starting from, you know, Gen 1 with their own code and stuff. Difficulty retargeting. Here we got the network difficulty adjusts every 2016 blocks, ensuring block times remain consistent as hash rate changes. Now, this is not the case, especially on newer blockchains. You need a bunch of hash rate where it's not really going to change that much at that point. Like Bitcoin has right now, it has a solid amount, and yeah, hash rate's been climbing and stuff, but it's not enough to change it. Right now, there are dramatic swings happening in the blockchain. So it is not ensuring block times remain consistent. Maybe in years it will when it has a steady amount of miners, depending what happens with this coin long term. But right now, this one is not the case, because let's just jump into here. Right now, we can see that the average block time right now is 309 seconds. Yesterday during my live stream, it was 480 or 470 or something like that. And 2 days ago, and it looks like we have a pull off line or something here, because it should be around 200 some petahash average, but there was 200 some petahash on the pool side here, and like 1 exahash came in out of nowhere. And what happened there is it dropped that block time down, because remember, it takes over 2,000 blocks for that difficulty adjustment. That's why we've seen this big adjustment here. We went from 4.93 Gs up to 10 Gs, over double the difficulty from that guy that hit a couple days ago with like 1 exahash. And what happened, it dropped this block time down to only 79 seconds. So a lot of blocks were being found very, very fast. Obviously, that guy had like 95% of the network, so he was just rampaging this, and he was making a lot of money because he was sucking every block away from everybody with that. And then all of a sudden the difficulty adjusted, and he said, see you later, guys. And now everyone who's mining this coin right now is stuck with a slower blockchain and not mining as many blocks. But we can see it did pick up again. So I don't know really how this is going, because it's only been 24 hours and it's already adjusted down the speed a little bit. So this is unless this is wrong. Like, I'm not saying mining pool stats here is 100% accurate all the time, but like I said, it's already down over 100 seconds just from 24 hours ago. And based on an average block time and stuff, it should take about 7 days for this to adjust. But obviously that is not the case now, because we're seeing it jumping all over the place. So there's still a lot of up in the air regarding how this difficulty is adjusting, because we could see, you know, here's the adjustment, here's an adjustment, here it did a quick adjustment, and then here it did a pretty quick adjustment. Now it's been stuck on this higher one for a little while now. So it's like, what we got, September 14th to now, it's been here September 8th to 13th. So what is that? That's, you know, almost a week, not quite. So this is about the average one, but now it's been stuck in that higher end for quite some time, because all that hash rate and stuff did leave. So now we're stuck up here with the higher difficulty. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. But yeah, the way they are presenting this right here is not exactly the case. And this is the issue Ergo kind of had. If you remember 4 years ago, when ETH went to proof of stake, all the miners went over to Ergo, difficulty shot to the moon, and then all the miners left. Now it's stuck at high block times for like ever. So yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing happening right now when it comes to this Bitcoin 2. All right, so now we're going to take a look at Bitcoin 2 here and kind of look at the profitability versus just mining straight Bitcoin. I'm doing the hash rates based on like a Canaan, Avalon, A15 here. So we can see BTC and BC2 with 220 terahash. Now we got to update all this, because yesterday, like I said, this was based on a slower block time, and now we have a faster block time, 309 seconds. So I'm just going to come into here. I'm just going to go 86,400. That's how many seconds in a day. And I'm going to divide that by the current 309 seconds right now. So wherever my calculator just went, 309 seconds, that equals 279.6. Now we're going to times that by 50 for the current block reward, and that is 13,980. So I got to put that in here, 13,980. And look how that changed the blocks compared to that, what it previously was. I can't remember what the number was, but we can see how many more blocks we're finding now in a 24-hour period, which would obviously change the halving event stuff. So anyway, so we're going to hit that there. Now we're going to update the price. So we're sitting at 46.7. It went down a little bit. 46.7. Bam. And now we need the current network conditions, which is 133.29 petahash. So that's down a little bit, 133. So it's going to go 133 petahash here. And we're currently making about $10.79. Not too bad, about 23 coins. So half a block per day. So in theory, you should be finding a block with one of these miners every 2 days or so, a little over 2 days to get that 100% luck to find a full 50, if that makes sense to you as well. So now coming into here, let's take a look at what Bitcoin is looking like. So we got to update, obviously, all the Bitcoin Ordelios here. So now we're sitting at 1.12 zettahash. That is an insane amount of hash rate. I'm going to bring up my hash rate power calculator because that's a big number. So 1.12 zettahash, and we are mining in terahash. I'm just going to take this and copy it in, and now we're going to bring that to here. Bam. And now the price of Bitcoin is sitting at 113,678. 113,678. So we are up 13,678. 1, 2, 3. 130. Yeah, that's it. I was almost went into the million. So we wish Bitcoin was that high. So there we go. There we go. So they're about the same currently right now in probability when it's coming into what they are. So it looks like Bitcoin as well as Bitcoin 2 are pretty close in probability. Bitcoin 2 here is an extra 8 cents before any type of power cost. So that's interesting. So now it comes down to what's going to, maybe go up more, what's going to crash next. We have no idea which way anything's going to swing. We see Bitcoin going up, but we do see the price has been coming down the past couple of days now on the Bitcoin 2. As well, keep in mind daily emissions. We got Bitcoin sitting at $54.5 million per day, and we have Bitcoin 2 coming in at 6,529. So obviously this cannot support that much hardware. You're fighting for $6,500 here on that. But again, it's still where the probability is. So depending what happens, Bitcoin 2 could be a good choice, or straight Bitcoin, which a lot of people are trying to convert to these days, is obviously the OG king. So that's kind of what probability is looking like right now. It did go up a little bit, but is those block times true? Look, now oh wait, that's Bitcoin. Never mind. I was already like, oh, look, it changed already, but that's not the case. That is not the case. So I'm just going to go back to BC2 and just kind of go into here and say, so now we're at 305 still. But yeah, so like I said, yesterday this was 400 and some. So, in 24 hours now, the blockchain could slow down again. And then you're going to be getting like, you're going to be losing $4. Only like $6 a day is what you're getting, or maybe $4 a day is what you're getting. So, keep an eye on this. Maybe there are times when you could mine this for a higher profit than Bitcoin. There's going to be other days where Bitcoin is going to be the better choice here. So in a nutshell, that's what Bitcoin 2 is looking like when it comes to mining. I do think that big hash rate guy, once we see this, a difficulty adjust back down a bit, he will probably come back, I expect. And that way we'll see a super increase in speed of the block time, but he's going to be taking all the blocks, and it's still not going to be profitable because that hash rate is going to skyrocket again to over 1 exahash compared to what's on right now, and he's just going to take over this network yet again. I think that's probably going to be their strategy. He's going to keep coming on when the difficulty adjusts down, and then take all them blocks and then leave once it goes up. And everyone here that's mining us, like residential home miners, all you guys have been telling me about this coin and stuff, we're going to be stuck with a slow blockchain with not very many blocks coming while he's just in the background laughing, going back to Bitcoin most likely, and he'll just keep going back and forth. So just pay attention to this to see if that continues to happen or not. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.